what on earth is actually going on? Because this divine feminine here is extremely confused and ready for some clarity from the universe. Thank you very much. So basically, it's like this whole puzzle coming together where all of the pieces match. They're all of the same color tone and the same picture, and just coming together little by little. And I'm waiting for one puzzle to come into play that screams whole different puzzle, whole different picture, different colors. But it's not happening. They all still seem to connect, except for the one main puzzle that clarifies it all, the one main piece that clarifies it all, that would go in the middle there. And the only thing that does actually make sense is that somebody is holding on to my puzzle piece of clarity. Another feminine figure is in my bed, in my spot, living my life. As far as judging me for what chair I sit in the office, that stuff is way, way out of perspective here. How do you go from being 29, called career advanced by other business owners in the community, having 5 years of college, an associate degree out of that, being invited to very exclusive, selective community business builder groups, along with bankers and other business owners and whatnot, to basically being forced out of jobs at an sort of entry-level type position by people with far less experience. It's unexplainable, except for to consider that this princess here has a villain, a villain figure. More than one, actually. But the main old woman being like a mother villain figure, pimping out her daughter, using other villainous, cohorts, minions. Yeah, so concerning me not being in the chair I should be in the office, I should not be in the situation I'm in. Yeah, a neuropsych picked up on it right away, that I had CEO and executive business building qualities. But couldn't find a mental illness in there to, force their little defamation, side story, cover-up story to be valid. Yeah, if in fact the lies were true that they're trying to spin on me, if that were a fact, yeah, that would explain why somebody goes from being career advanced, invited into exclusive building business, organizations, groups, to being 46 and basically kicked out of, like, attempted to be set up at jobs, this, that, and the other thing, basically, literally, life put in danger, stability ripped from her, I restart my business online and it gets shut down sort of stuff, and I don't know, concerning fraud, the closest thing I've ever actually done to any fraud, and I have to take responsibility for it. However, there were, now knowing that there was definitely other factors coming against me and into play, such as targeting. But like at the end of my Etsy, I have a big, huge retro gold peacock that I still owe somebody out there. And, a few different like tri-bubble air plant scapes. So there were a handful of orders that when my business started being shut down because I started being severely psychologically and intellectually like harassed at that time and lost that business, somebody else taking credit for my designs, started a worldwide genre. So nobody has any place to judge me for my, lack of having my chair I should have and having my office I should have at the office. It's unexplainable unless you consider the thwarting and the sabotage of frauds and thieves in the background. So yeah, there was a handful of orders that I failed to get out when my Etsy business went down, and that was in 2011, 2012, something like that. But every time I've moved, those have been the one thing that I have made sure was safe, that the very fragile items didn't get broken. Hopefully that peacock still is intact. It was pretty well packed in my beer truck, but that had to be driven over very bumpy, land, out of town to be parked and stored. So, that was, I've always intended to make that right. And I still plan to actually try to, send a postcard out to see if these people are still at the same address, or even get a hold of Etsy and see if I can find them and locate them so that I know they got their money back, and this money I would owe, but I still intend to. I've always made my stuff right. It's not something that I've passed off and forgotten about. I know that I still owe those things to those people. And, like I said, as far as like anything I moved that went with me when I've had to downsize and move from place to place, those are the items that were the number one priority of being saved, being protected, and making sure. I owe a guy named Chad, I think in Michigan, a really nice, significantly sized crystal and leather necklace. And I wrote down his address in 3 or 4 different places in my storage so that I can send that to him, as well as an additional gift certificate of significant value, when I can get my online store back up again. And I've just been very targeted, and it's gotten worse and worse. I'm lucky to be alive, but I've been trying to find some stability and get to a place and locate these people and get that stuff back out to them. So that is the only knowing fraud I have committed myself, which I have to take responsibility for. But not knowing what was going on back then is that I was being extremely psychologically targeted at the time. So, and that's something I can explain to them now at this point, in layman's terms. So there's that. This girl is not in the place she should be, career-wise. I started a worldwide genre that has subgenres, and which I don't get credit for. My designs were sold to other companies and manufactured. Not exactly, they would change them a little bit, with the exception of the Kmart hoops. Those were my exact design, as me being the first person to have ever designed and manufactured that type of jewelry in a genre that is humongous. I mean, Etsy, as well as many other artists, have made a lot of money and livings out of the style that I actually came up with in 2008 in Bozeman. I actually, even when I started my childcare center, which is still a successful business that is being run today, and something that benefits a whole community of people in a very safe and a very high quality, educational facility for young children. Through that, I was doing trainings to even other directors of other programs, and I had within me, and I had created a very unique early childhood art-based curriculum and other curriculums within the environment that were very unique. And I had intended to basically have it be something that I would, produce a product, that was the curriculum, along with other tools that could be put in the environment for children to learn art. And yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. I missed a point there. But anyways, just to address all of this, that none of this makes any sense. Zero sense. Really. And except for, unless you consider it sabotage, it's the only thing that helps it come together. And somebody holding on to the significant puzzle piece that actually brings it all together. So anyways, what in the world's going on? I'd like to know. Do you like my necklace? This was actually one of my great grandmother's clip-on earrings, and you know, one of them was lost and one remained, and so I put it on a chain. Ancestry. And I'm thankful to my ancestors very much so. They're the only ones sort of bring some clarity into it, but if it didn't fit together, if it wasn't all the same puzzle, I would just dismiss it all and think I was just ultra mind effed. Try not to cuss. I'll quit smoking just as soon as I have a reason not to. But I am gonna start working on my health again. Get ready, because something has to stop, has to change. There has to be a reason that I've been put through all of these tests, and there has to be a reason that I am still alive today, and there's has to be a reason that all of this came into play, and I am here where I am now today. So anyways, never wanted to sue anyone for anything. I just want what was mine, what's intended to be mine. I am in no way any sort of homewrecker or any sort of person that would covet somebody else's spouse. But why is it that somebody is perfect, somebody fits perfectly? I would consider I would be fine being single and on my own, but I know that the mission that I have in life to serve the future generations, it needs a partner. I've got to put 10,000 to flight, not just 1,000. And it's somebody that's a business partner, a lover, a friend, and a business partner. And I would consider other options, except for I have a really hard time thinking that something and somebody's going to cross my path, that I can look into his eyes and see more than several past lifetimes, and somebody that I've known that well without knowing them, and somebody that fits as far as mission and interests and emotional, intellectual fitting. It's discouraging. I feel like it's right around the corner, but I am so ready for some clarity and to move on to the next step. Nothing has fit as far as going to a new place, plus I have so many reservations now as to, you know, the craziness has gone on at the last places of employment. Clients recognized my energy. Coworkers recognized my energy, and without me asking for any position of authority, they would come to me and ask the questions. They would put me in that spot, even though it wasn't something I was going for, and that was probably another reason I got pushed out of the way, you know? So, I don't know, but I'm ready to know. So anyways, that's that. Gotta go get stuff done now. Today is going to be a significant day in my course of once again, trying once again as I don't give up. So here we go. Frippery or and other Sally stuff.